Welcome. It's not looking good for us guys, because Steam has been getting sued for like a couple of weeks already. I'm reacting to it quite late. So yeah, let's begin. So I heard about it and I would like to learn a bit more. So we're going to be watching this and yeah, I'm going to be doing my honest reaction. So yeah, let's go.
Steve is getting sued and we're the ones that are paying for it. Doesn't that
it's great.
just sound fantastic?
It is fantastic. You're going to own nothing and be happy. This is like the freaking. I like how we are going in this direction because it's like, oh yes, I've been talking about this for ages now, like since like my first video a couple of weeks ago, I guess. And it's like, oh yeah, another one, let's go, yeah.
The things are going in right now. Video games are being invaded by a bunch of people that don't care about games, don't know.
Yeah, that is very true. Good example is the head of Xbox right now. She's like AI person, not game person. So it's like, not good.
Anything about them, but will do everything they can to pretend like they represent you just to be able to gain leverage and control over your hobby and ultimately you.
And then they're gonna shove up your ass all of the political BS they want and all the propaganda and everything you don't want. And then you're gonna wake up and be like, I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore. And then you might go outside and be like, oh, this place is shit.
Right now, Steve...
honestly, I should not be swearing already because YouTube is, oh, you should not swear. Freaking YouTube.
Steam is under fire for, get this, ripping off their customers by overcharging for games.
Just like, overcharging for games.
I learned something new every...
I mean, it's not Steam that is doing this. It's the whole of the game industry, actually, because Steam allows them to set up the prices. Guess what? How do I know this? Because, well, some companies actually do set up like prices separately for certain parts of Europe. That means Poland, basically. I currently reside in Poland, so I do know.
Single day. They're apparently representing 14 million UK gamers, which I would love to meet some of these people because I'm having a...
Oh, UK. What do you mean they are setting up prices weirdly in the UK? Like the prices in UK are pretty much... the prices in UK are better than prices in Poland. That tells you something about it, The prices in the UK are pretty much equivalent of the ones in the EU.
Very hard time believing that any of them exist, and they're suing Steam to the tune of over $900 million, which is just the initial payout.
That's a huge amount of money. That's a huge amount of money.
Because the financial repercussions of this are going to shake the company down to its core. All the changes that they're going to need to make. And of course, all of this is being supported by everybody's favorite guy in gaming, Tim Sweeney. So you know these guys are on the right track. These people...
Who's that? I actually have no idea who's that. I'm not really in the game universe, I'm like a gamer on the side, I just enjoy me, strategy games and me city builders and me simulator games and me sandbox games, and I don't really play much of like mainstream games. I only know about like the shitty games that come out basically because I hear a lot about them, and I'm like, who's gonna pay? Who's gonna pay for this? Who's gonna play it? Weird.
They represent no one. Their entire position is based on the idea that Steam is just too successful. They're too good. They're too good at what they do. They have too many customers. They make too much money. They don't spend enough of that money.
Yeah, basically. And see, the funny thing is, United States can't do anything about Steam because they would have to enact the anti-monopoly law, the anti-monopoly law that technically does exist in the United States. But then they would also, someone would come up with the idea of you have to split up Microsoft, and then you would also have to split up Apple, and you would also have to split up a bunch of like those big media conglomerates, because that's what we call monopoly now, a conglomerate, So yeah, it's a big mess when it comes to that. So instead of doing that, they just want to reduce the size of Steam by having them suffer financially, basically, which is a smart way of dealing with something like this, but it's also annoying for someone like me because I enjoy Steam. Like, I have never had a negative experience with Steam once in my life. So yeah,
wasting it on a bunch of people that they don't need. The company is far too efficient. Essentially, this company is suffering from success.
They didn't hire a bunch of HR people. Wow, it's suffering from success. Imagine this: if you just fired all of the HR people. I mean, not all of them, like leave one or two alone. Leave one or two. They should be fine. But like, you don't need 20 of those. You don't need them. Fire all of them. Leave one, two, and everything is going to be as efficient as it was before. Probably even more efficient if you like reduce the size of the team and remove all of the BS pointless people that were like hired because they are friends or they diversify our company somehow.
That is what this lawsuit is for.
Yeah.
And what they want to do is they want to punish Steam, make them change their ways, and then force us onto platforms and onto storefronts that don't deserve our money. Nobody is talking about this from the customer's perspective. Who would have guessed? Because it seems like nobody ever wants to ever
caring about a customer in bloody 2026. Oh, not happening, mate. Impossible. Imagine this, like pro-customer laws, pro-customer companies. No, big profits. That's all they care about. Big
include
money.
us in this kind of conversation. None of these guys are asking why people even use Steam. Nobody's talking about how Steam protects their customers. No, they just see this as an opportunity to take down or to attack one of the very few allies that we still have left in this industry. So today, I want to talk about why Steam is getting sued, the repercussions of this, and also for all the talk of competition, we're the ones that are getting screwed.
Yeah.
You know what? Before I see it in the comment section, I will proudly declare myself a shill for Steam. I love the platform. I love what it's done for games. And yeah, these guys are the progenitor of loot boxes, and they've absolutely had their hands in some shady business when it comes to Counter-Strike gambling. But you take the good with the bad, and in Steam's case, there's a hell of a lot more good than bad. So much so that I think that you would be hard-pressed to find any players who genuinely have a problem with the platform itself, which is why I have been completely caught off guard when I saw that there was news that Steam is being hit with a class action lawsuit on behalf of 14 million UK gamers.
I don't know why, but I don't feel like UK has this many gamers, and I don't feel like they would unite over the fact that they feel like Steam robbed them or something. Like, this sounds like a bunch of lies. It's like putting on paper like, oh yeah, we have this many people, and they want this and that, and yeah. And it's like, no, I don't feel like UK has this many gamers that had negative experience with Steam. I'm pretty sure of that. I used to live in the UK. I'm the kind of real proof here. I used to be a UK gamer.
That Valve is abusing their market dominance to make players pay too much for games. That claim alone does not.
And that is a lie because, like, okay, base price of games everywhere, pretty bad. Unless it's a game that I actually want, So what do you do? What do you do? Okay, I'm going to tell you what you do. You buy it on sale. Wow. And then it's like, and then it's cheap. Like, okay, hear me out. Games that cost 10 zloty on sale. So 10 zloty, that's like, let me do a calculation. Let's say, that is about $3. There we go. That's about $3 maybe, yeah. Games that cost $3 in UK, they cost like £1, basically, Yeah, magic numbers.
Not make any sense to me because, well, the most common complaint that I see isn't higher prices. It's people drowning in backlogs because of how affordable they make games, especially indie games, after a lot of these endless sales.
Yeah, that is also true. That is very true. Like, I have so many games on my Steam account that I haven't played yet because I have no time. Apparently, I have no time, yeah. And my PC is too bad. Yeah, that's also true. And because there's too many of them. There is.
The lawsuit is being pushed under a campaign.
I'm in this weird situation where I would like to play Minecraft the 50th time over with some mods instead of like starting a new game.
Called...
Or playing like Victoria 3 or something.
Steam, you owe us. I'm not exactly sure who us is supposed to be in this conversation.
Us, the British companies that can't make games that people actually buy. Honestly, like, I'm gonna need to like check after this video if there is any game that was recently created by like a British company that's not like indie that actually made like decent amount of money. Like, I mean, decent amount of, like, have decent player base for some time. Because I feel like all of them are, like, non-existent. Like, I hear more about games created in bloody Poland and well, in France recently, Expedition 33, and in Japan, in China, in places like I hear games like that are from Indonesia, mate. Indonesia, like if you are talking about countries that are like very, I mean, there's big financial inequality in Indonesia, so there are some people that actually like probably do work in like computer stuff. I mean, quite a lot because they're a big population. But yes, like, but you don't know bloody Indonesia that is creating games. Like, have you ever heard of Indonesian games? No. And well, recently I did hear about a couple of them, and I'm like, oh, those are pretty good. Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah. You don't really hear about UK games, so maybe that's 1.4 million British pounds going into this, not people.
But sure, but the case is being led by Vicky Shotbolt, a self-described advocate for children's digital rights. And
oh no, it's those people. My favorite debate of the century. Oh, what do the companies that produce media should care about children? No, they shouldn't. Parents should care about children because they bloody made them.
Oh, wouldn't you know it? She was also a key player and on the executive board behind the UK's Online Safety Act, the same legislation that gutted online privacy and freedom of expression. Guys, you know what? Between this and games getting censored thanks to Collective Shout, we are absolutely at war with Karens right now. Aaron Klotz of Tom's Hardware reported on the details of Valve's lawsuit, writing, Valve's dominance in the PC gaming market has put it squarely in the sights of a UK activist who...
Honestly, like, I feel like we need to pray for... Oh, that's 40, not 1.4, but never mind. I feel like we need to bloody pray for them. Like, I don't mean like in a Christian way or anything. Like, just a little bit of, prayer, non-religious, just maybe religious, maybe not religious, I don't care. But I wish Steam and Valve as a whole is pretty good in this situation and, gets lots of money from those UK activists. Like, they won a case ages ago. And I hope for a big old miracle to happen here, because if they fail, first thing that's gonna happen, once they like lose a lot of money and some magical stuff happens, and somehow they have like magical agents come in to the company and start messing things up, first thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna need to like give Face ID on Steam. Yeah, Face ID on Steam. Like, you are no longer going to be playing any of your 18 plus games because you're going to need to show your face, and it's going to be and they're going to send it to like, third party. There's like very suspicious because they leaked like a bunch of data from a different company a couple of months ago. Totally not talking about Discord. No. It's completely not going to be Discord 2.0.
Steam gamers
if
and developers
anything bad happens here. Totally
too
not.
much money
no,
for games
never.
distributed on the platform. BBC reports that Valve is being hit with a $903 million lawsuit for abusing its market dominance by digital rights campaigner Vicky Shotbolt. If she wins, all 14 million UK Steam gamers could be compensated, and similar lawsuits could likely hit Valve in other countries. The lawsuit
Maybe I should join it because it's like free money, A bit of capitalist. No. Like, I feel like a bunch of those people don't exist.
Investigated by Shotbolt, claims that Valve is prohibiting games sold on its Steam platform from being sold on other distribution platforms that might charge less for the same games.
Wow, if you go to like bloody resellers, yeah, they charge less because they buy all of the code because they magically appear out of nowhere, and then you buy them from there because you cannot afford the games on Steam. That's what people in Poland do, by the way, quite often. Not all the time, quite often. Okay. But yes, and many other like Eastern European countries that have to overpay for games. So yeah, but yeah, personally, I think that this is a very like bad argument because it's like saying, oh yes, there's random codes there for games that appear out of nowhere, right? They cost less. Well, guess why they cost less? Because they're probably not legal.
Valve is also being charged with allegedly imposing anti-steering provisions based on its in-game purchasing model, where PC game add-ons, or DLC, only work through Steam if the base game was purchased through Steam. Finally,
yeah, I mean, okay, we can. I feel like Steam can work this out in a way, maybe. I'm not sure. But I don't really mind this. Like, I personally agree with Steam. You need to have DLC on Steam to like use it, or at least like, or at least add like a patch option to like Steam, like so you can patch the game with DLC basically. Or like DLC is easier to like you know. I feel like you can go so many ways around the whole DLC thing. Like you can make them into a patch instead of like a DLC, like paid patch that you can get from places, you know, basically, and then you just like throw it into the folder, and then it actually works the way it's intended, maybe, because that's how you go around like certain types of games on Steam if you want the additional content, quote unquote.
For charging consumers too much based on excessive commission charges. Okay, I'm sorry, but what? The idea that Valve is somehow using anti-steering based on its in-game purchasing model because of DLC and microtransactions that don't work on anywhere other than Steam, that has nothing to do with Valve. That's how every single platform works. If I buy DLC on PlayStation, I can't use it on Xbox or Steam. If I buy that DLC on Xbox, I can't use it on Steam or PlayStation.
Yeah, and that's why you have to sue Xbox and Sony. Microsoft and Sony, and Epic Games as well, you know, and GOG maybe. I don't know if there's DLCs on GOG, but maybe might do as well, you know.
The same thing goes for Epic.
It's like this is like so discriminatory against Steam in a way. I'm gonna use the current language, discriminatory, you know. But yeah, it is because like if you want to deal with the problem, you have to tackle all of them. But if you tackle one, no, that is just being discriminatory, basically. That is discrimination. That's racism. Racism against Steam.
That's not a Valve policy. That's just basic platform separation. And now, sure, I would love it for all digital purchases to be multi-platform. I'm pretty sure everybody would, but that's a question of game infrastructure, not platform control.
Yeah.
These guys have no idea how video games even work or how any of these storefronts even work. That responsibility sits with the developers, not the storefronts. We already know that's possible because there's plenty of games that use account-based systems where they track your ownership regardless of platform. You just log in and all that content carries over the same way you use like mobile games and you can log into your phone or to your PC.
Yeah, but that's how Genshin works. That's how Wuthering Waves works. That's how Azur Lane works. That's how most of the gacha games work, basically.
Or to your video game console or whatever.
I can also say this. That's how TFT works. Like if you have something on TFT on your PC, then and your TFT on your phone, if you use the same account, it's there. You know, like I don't understand. If I feel like the people that are suing this are pretty stupid, probably. Like, they are using the technical language. Wow.
Else, but that's something that's not universal. That's not all over the place. I mean, you can go ahead and sue game makers, but you can't sue Valve over that.
Yeah.
Then there's the excessive commission charges argument, which honestly reads like it was something that was just ghost written by Tim Sweeney. Valve charges 30%. That is the exact same cut as Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, mobile platforms. Hell, even GOG charges that much.
Yeah.
The only real outliers that we have is the Microsoft Store that nobody uses and the Epic Game Store, which also nobody uses. So
no, we use Epic Game Store to get ourselves free version of GTA 5. Last time it happened was ages ago. But we use it to get free games that we don't really want to buy on Steam sometimes. Or they are there so we can test them out and then maybe buy them on Steam later.
Why is Steam being singled out here? Why not just sue the entire industry? It's almost like you're just targeting Valve for another reason. Oh, that's because that's exactly what you're doing. Yeah. This isn't about commissioned rates. It's about the fact that Valve is too profitable for how little regulators think they should be allowed to make.
True. He's saying what I just said.
Even try to point this out, that Valve's efficiency, roughly $50 million per revenue for employee, is evidence of their wrongdoing instead of their competence. That sentiment shows up when they point out the Wolfire Games case, which Steam is also actively in right now, where they say Valve invests a minuscule portion of its revenue into improving and maintaining the Steam store, with very few personnel allocated to the Steam.
Yeah, why? Because Steam Store business development is working fine. Customer support is bloody working fine. If your account is stolen by a Russian hacker or a Mexican hacker or a hacker from out of nowhere, he came out of Mars, you know, and you can just text them, Steam customer support, right? And you get your account back within like 20 minutes, maybe 1 hour, literally. Like, I lost my account 3 times in my life. I'm probably gonna lose it a bunch more probably by the time I'm like dying, you know, but yeah, like, you don't need more people here. There's enough people. And the engineering, I don't know what the engineering team does. They're doing fine engineering. Like what, the people that are making the Steam Deck, is that what they're talking about? The engineers that make the Steam Deck? I mean, they are doing fine. Competing stores generally offer superior infrastructure and support. No, they don't. I've seen Epic Games. Every time I open it, it's lagging my bloody PC that came out from like 10 years ago. And I do mean it. My PC is literally that old. But yes. And superior support. I mean, I never had to deal with support from anywhere else. So I'm not sure about this. So I'm clueless, but I don't think they are as efficient as, Steam. I feel like, I mean, I'm sucking dick for Steam right now, but like, I don't feel like they might be as efficient. Like, I don't know.
Store business development, customer support, and engineering. Competing stores genuinely offer superior infrastructure and support despite their much smaller market share. Yeah, okay, and those stores suck, so what does that say about them if they can't accomplish a fraction of what Valve does while operating with far more people, more money burned, and vastly worse results? Steam is the most well-supported platform in the entire industry, bar none, and it's not even close. It is loaded with features that nobody else has. Steam Play Together, integrated modding through the work...
Mate, you have the workshop, right? He's talking about the workshop. You can do a bloody live stream on... You can make videos on Steam. You can stream on Steam. You can create guides on Steam. You can create fan art on Steam. You can make so many bloody things that are just on Steam. Like, you could, if you wanted to, you can move from Rule 34 to Steam. I'm telling you.
Direct player feedback through game-specific forums and reviews, discovery tools, visibility tools, massive seasonal sales, refunds that actually work and happen almost instantly.
By the way, note here, you cannot move from Rule 34 to Steam anymore because I forgot about the ban.
I could just keep going on and on. If this is what underinvesting looks like, then the rest of the industry should be absolutely embarrassed. Man, you guys are a bunch of losers. So let me get this straight. Sorry, you're too successful. You're too efficient. You provide too good of a service. And because you're so good at what you do, we need to...
Wait a minute. Can I say this? I'm on YouTube, but like, can we sue YouTube for being like the only video platform that actually does well? No, you cannot. No, because it's Google. So no, that's not happening.
Sue you over it. How is that even a coherent complaint?
Also, YouTube has been messing up lately. So like, you know... Maybe there's going to be a competitor one day. Maybe. That's not happening, by the way.
You know what, Gabe? I hope you're watching this video on a boat somewhere right now, which good for you, man. I would stay the hell away from the rest of society, too, if I was you. But
yeah, Gabe should get another yacht. There we go.
Just go ahead and bring up this video in court because it is pretty easy to prove that none of their arguments make any sense. I mean, their key argument is that the commission rates from Steam are inflating game prices inorganically.
No, they are not, because, okay, if a game costs $10, right, that it would cost basically 12 quid in UK, and it would cost a bunch more in like certain countries, but like there is not much difference. Like, okay, so let's say Steam gets the $3 from the game, from the $3, right? And $7 gets the company, and they need a certain amount of money for like development and so forth, right? So you just have to like price it properly. Also, don't make bad games. Like, if you make a bad game and then you cry about like not making money, well, that's on you. You made a bad game. Who knew? Right? Like, that's why so many indie games are doing so well nowadays, because like they don't really have to care that much about like the sales, because like most of this, like I feel like there's many one man teams, basically like 1 man people doing making a whole game, right? Like, or maybe like smaller teams that are just like making a group project into a game, and then they create it and turn themselves into a studio like proper, right? Like I don't feel like they require the amount of money that like huge amounts of money. Like they could literally create like like I don't know, projects for fun sometimes or something like that, you know? Like they're making profit because they're making something that's more fun, and they don't really care about making big bucks basically. And then you have big corporations that are like failing because they wanted to create big bucks and they are making whatever, and then they realize, oh, we are like 200,000 in the negative at least. And it's like, yeah.
But that collapses the second that it touches reality. I mean, the first 3 games that pushed prices to $70 back in 2020 was NBA 2K.
Yeah, bad game. Bad game. Don't know.
2021, Demon Souls remake, and Black Ops Cold War. None of those games launched on Steam. And here we are now years later, and well, we have an $80 game, but that's Mario Kart World.
That's on Nintendo.
A Nintendo exclusive. If Steam is supposedly inflating prices, then why does every single Nintendo and PlayStation exclusive cost $70 by...
Wow, I bet it's the $30 that Steam gets. they need the 30, I mean the 30, not $30, 30% that Steam gets from the Mario Kart that doesn't exist
default
on PC.
I mean, these guys then try to back up that argument saying that they don't allow developers to charge lower prices on other platforms, that they're pressuring them to offer the same deals or risk being removed from Steam, except according to Steam's own policy, this only applies to Steam keys, which makes perfect sense. Steam takes 0 commission from Steam keys. They allow you to go sell those keys elsewhere if you want to, but they don't want you undercutting the price on their own storefront using those keys that cost them money to distribute and support. So why would any company want to use their infrastructure, distribute keys, and then have you undercut them and also screw over their own users?
True.
You know what, guys? Maybe I have this entire thing wrong. I mean, we have Tim Sweeney coming out in support of the lawsuit, claiming that Steam's handling of microtransactions is unlawful and claiming...
But he's the opposition because he's from Epic Games, you know? He's going to badmouth Steam like whenever.
That Valve is doing the same thing as Apple and Google, where those were lawsuits where they were both found to be handling things illegally. He compares non-transferable DLC to cars, saying that car makers provide a service too. That doesn't mean they get to dictate what you do with your car after you bought it, which I find especially funny coming from the CEO of Epic, because DLC on the Epic game...
I find it pretty funny when you have to like pay money to like have a GPS that's already installed in your I can't speak, in your freaking car, because that's what some companies do.
Game store isn't transferable to any other platforms either. That analogy gets even richer when we start to remember that Epic also owns Unreal Engine 5, where simply just using the engine means you have to pay them 5% in royalty fees on all revenue, including microtransactions, unless your game sells it on the Epic store, which then it finally magically disappears.
Yeah.
Sweeney leans harder into that Apple and Google comparison, claiming that Steam's rules explicitly steer players and force everyone to pay Valve that 30%, a comparison that immediately falls apart under any scrutiny because Apple and Google own their own operating systems, control the hardware, and were found to actively block alternative stores, which Valve doesn't own Windows, Valve doesn't own Linux, though honestly, I do actually kind of wish they owned Microsoft. That would actually make for a far better world, but that's the tell here. This isn't about prices. This isn't about players. This isn't even about the competition. This is about people who couldn't win. So instead, they're just trying to change the rules after they lost. I am so sick and tired of people.
No, they couldn't force Steam to do what they wanted. They couldn't force Steam to become shit, basically. Because this is what people want. Like this, and I don't mean like you people. I mean the rich nobility, the aristocrats of the modern day. You know, the mentally disabled people that are like somewhere in higher places that somehow make money out of nowhere. Like I don't even know how they got there, but like those people those mentally ill people want everything to turn to shit because they don't want to have any fun in life. Everything has to be, everything has to taste like shit. Everything has to look like shit. Everything has to function like shit. You cannot even have a house. And pardon me, gentlemen and ladies, maybe, but this is not how things should be. And like this whole situation with Steam, like I didn't know that it's going like. They used such a stupid moronic argument just to try to like get a bunch of money from Steam. Like, brother, you could literally like, okay, I don't know what sort of like argument you agree to when you play FIFA, basically, but like you could sue EA for gambling or promoting gambling to children because FIFA is like age-free game, right? Rated 3 or rated for everyone, maybe, I don't know, but like you're promoting gambling to kids basically with FIFA. I mean, it's no longer called FIFA, it's called something else nowadays. I don't know the name of the game anymore. I'm feeling ancient, but same goes for like certain other types of games that like use gambling inside of them. Like, and I'm not talking about CS:GO. CS:GO is like probably rated 16 or something. It's a game meant for more, like older teenagers that have like some spare money, maybe. So I don't care about that. But like, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But that's what I'm saying.
Who have no interest in the hobby, invading the space and trying to ruin it. First, we had Collective Shout coming in and censoring games, getting them.
Bloody hell! They had to remove certain, like they had to remove the patch from Steam. Now you have to patch things.
Removed from
you have to patch things on your own.
Steam. Then we have the UK coming in with their Online Safety Act, basically destroying people's privacy, and now we have people trying to come in to kill competition.
Yeah.
I'm all for litigation and controls around predatory practices in video games. Things like gambling, things like digital currency, stop killing games, all the stuff that's going on with Roblox as an example. But you can't convince me that this isn't just a one-side.
See, with the stop killing games thing, I'm like, it doesn't sound bad when it comes to like stop killing games.
Attack going after Steam.
Like I am, I am a pro-consumer person basically. So stop killing games is not that bad because it's like quite quite anti-corporation in a way. So I'm like, make it pro-consumer.
Because they are the best available platform on the market, and they're run so efficiently that it barely costs them anything to be able to run it. This is all under the guise of being anti-competitive. You know what's anti-competitive? Trying to make the fastest runner sit in a wheelchair because you want to turn the rest of the industry into the Special Olympics.
Gaming industry turned into Paralympics 2026.
The other platforms just simply aren't good enough. Steam is just in a class of its own. We are the kingmaker. We are the one that chose them.
I mean, Steam is the Usain Bolt, basically.
These guys ever think to take the time to just ask people whether or not they even wanted to try to use other platforms or try to use other storefronts?
Yeah.
You represent 14 million gamers. Sure. I totally believe you.
I like that I'm on the same page as this guy. Like, I feel like they're representing $1.4 million quid, not 14 million gamers.
They act as though Steam's revenue just goes into the ether. Like, it just disappears. It just goes to Gabe's boat or something like that. That's definitely not the case. I mean, they have...
I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind Gaben buying, like, another, yacht with his money. Like, give him 5 more, why not?
22 themed Game Fest for nearly every single genre that's going to be showcasing indie games all across the board, and it's not going to cost any of these developers a red cent as long as they're actually on the platform.
Exactly, because see, that's actually so funny because Steam is also giving like their game developers a free promotion. Basically, like I learned about so many tiny studios from Game Fests, from like those events that happen. Like I would never buy like, I don't know, let's say Storage Hunter Simulator. I waited for that game since like they announced it. I bought the game for full price on the release. I mean, actually, on the release, it was like 20% off, but like whatever. So I bought it, and I was so satisfied with it. And I learned it was from a Polish studio, by the way. So I'm happy for them. Yeah, I'm like, happy. I'm happy because like I put my money into something and it was good, and I would never learn because like unless Steam unless somebody like made a video about it later on, and I mean people do make videos about that game, so yeah. But yeah, I'm happy that like Steam actually does marketing for smaller studios. Like another game that I heard about like from out of nowhere would be a Reborn, basically. Yeah, Kingdoms Reborn. Yeah, that's the game. It's a strategy game. So yeah, like there's so many games on my like thing on my wish list that came out of nowhere, basically. Like I would never be learning about them unless like they would be like from big corporations throwing money at it or something like that, you know?
Not to mention the absurd amount of tools and policies and protections that they have in place for their developers as well as their players.
Yeah. Like refund on Steam is great because it's like working flawlessly unless you want to cheat the system. You're being a very naughty person if you want to cheat the system, you know. But it is actually working flawlessly in my opinion. Like, okay, you pay for the game, you play it a bit, you realize it sucks, you sell it. You sell it. You say I want a refund. You get the refund basically the very next day, at latest. Like you get it in a couple of hours, like at least.
Players, it's just all these guys are just paying attention to the flow of the money, but they're not asking why that money is flowing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key to this entire conversation because they don't actually care about any of this stuff.
See, back in the days, back like maybe 30 years ago, economists would think, how does this work? And business people would think, how does this work? And modern day people, like nowadays, the same people that probably retired are like the people that are like retired and are teaching maybe then the people that are learning nowadays are like, it came out of nowhere. It's working somehow. I have no idea how it works. Money is money. I don't know. Like, see, especially the I don't know part is making big sense here because they probably don't know.
All they care about is the money. Notice how every single time somebody comes in and says that they're doing something for us, things always get worse. We get less choice. We get less freedom.
Yeah.
And we get worse service.
Yeah.
Nearly every single time. And that's exactly how this is going to go because the one key thing that they're going to try to use as proof, the David to their Goliath in this situation, is that they caught Steam trying to protect their players.
Yeah.
The horror. If any of these people bothered to ask users why they use Steam, they would immediately realize that the answer has nothing to do with what they're trying to burn it down over. I use Steam because it's simply the best service in the industry. It feels like it was built by gamers for gamers, and you feel that in every single part of the experience. It's wildly convenient. All my games are in one place. Modding is just checking a box, and at any moment, I can see how players actually feel about a game right now, not how it reviewed 6 months ago. Imagine being disconnected from the gaming world. You see a static score, 4.5 stars or 8 out of 10 with no context, no timeline, no warning. You buy the game only to find out that a recent update completely broke it. We've seen this happen repeatedly. Games that were critically adored at launch become borderline unplayable months later, and that protects us in a way. Lets us be able to know more about these games. It protects us from wasting our money.
Here's the only thing I have issue with Steam. Sometimes on Steam you have games that like pop out of nowhere, have 0 reviews, and they contain a virus sometimes, or they are a way to like do magical stuff like money laundering, basically. So yeah, those are like the only 2 issues you can find on Steam, and there's just that's like something Steam can solve like within maybe like 6 months, basically, if they actually tried. Because they probably have I don't know, maybe it's a game, maybe it's not, I don't know. Like, I mean, minimum protection would be fine, you know, put on a condom on Steam or something like that. put on the condom on like the people that upload stuff. Like if they are like maybe at a verified a verified studio system or something like that. Like make a system that verifies people or something like that. Like I don't mean like the people that play. I mean the people that like upload the games, something like that. You know.
And I guess these people just don't like that.
Yeah.
Now, one part of the conversation that we haven't touched on yet is the claim that Steam is forcing developers to avoid offering lower prices on other platforms, not just with Steam keys, but more broadly. This argument largely traces back to a lawsuit Valve is still currently dealing with right now, the Wolfire Games case that started back in 2021. In that suit, Wolfire points to communications with Valve employees, suggesting that if developers offered lower prices somewhere else, Steam could take action, including reduced promotion or even removing the game entirely from the storefront. From a legal standpoint, that's getting framed as anti-competitive behavior and in violation of anti-steering rules. Wolfire backs this up with internal emails and direct conversations with Valve, but I want you guys to pay very close attention to the language being used. The Wolfire suit lists emails and internal conversations that read as follows. We'll never show up and ask you to undercut your customers on other stores, and we expect you'll treat our customers with the same respect. This is a platform goal that goes beyond Steam keys. And use the threat of not promoting them or stop selling it altogether if they raise their price elsewhere or lower the price on Steam, right? Our practice is to have a conversation with the developer to understand why the price is lower elsewhere and see if we can figure out a way to get Steam's price to a similar price that it is on other platforms. We wouldn't be okay with selling games on Steam if they were available at better prices on other stores, even if they didn't use Steam keys. If you want to sell a non-Steam version of your game at $10 at retail and $20 on Steam, we would ask that you lower the price or stop selling the game on Steam if we couldn't treat our customers fairly.
Yeah, that's true. Because normally you would pay more on the retail side because it's like production costs and so on and so forth. So yeah, Steam is very reasonable about this, in my opinion. It's very business conscious way of talking about this as well. Like they're saying you either give us a regular price or you're out, basically. Like it's either this or that. There is no choice. So, and it's very reasonable because like they care about, like, you know, selling the product at a reasonable rate and not selling the product at a rate that's like overcharging compared to like certain other places, you know?
All right, now, sure, you can make the argument that this is anti-competitive. That's the legal framing. But from my perspective, and probably yours, this is inherently pro-consumer and honestly, unfathomably based. Steam doesn't want to compete on price because, as they said in their emails, it doesn't treat the customer fairly. And they're right. Price competition is the laziest form of competition because it doesn't require you to be better. You just get to jerk the customer around. If the platform is worse, well, you just get to cut prices and it avoids having to actually fix anything. You don't have to improve your features, your infrastructure, or your trust. You get to subsidize inconvenience and call it competition. At that point, users are not choosing a platform because it's good. They're choosing it because it's cheaper, and that's a far lower bar to clear. Beyond that, the moment the price becomes...
That is very true. Like, okay, if someone came up with a Steam alternative that was cheaper, a bunch of people would move. Honestly. Like that's why like the Xbox Game Pass was so popular, because it was like a cheaper way of getting certain games. Like you don't have to buy them, you would have them. And yeah, until it got too expensive, then you realized, oh, that's no good. That's too expensive. Like what I play like maybe 5 games over here, and maybe they collectively do cost like around $100 or something. But yeah.
As a primary lever, we are the ones that are being inconvenienced. We are the ones that have to pay for it. Players get pushed around. We have to juggle storefronts, fragment our libraries, and we lose out on features just to avoid feeling overcharged. How exactly is that fair to us? I think what these companies are afraid of is real competition, competing on service, because if you win that way, well, now you're forced to keep earning your users, and we're the ones that stay in control, and that is definitely something that these guys do not want to have to deal with. It's way easier for them to just cut prices rather than to have to build something better. And
yeah, it's very hard to build something better because like you would have to like consciously make decisions that actually like benefit the customer and the company. Not just the company. Like it's easier to have a bunch of morons that just benefit the company instead of having people that actually like do a great balancing act between like corporate good and customer good. that like constantly allows for a increasing customer base. Like, I feel like companies are getting bad at doing like, the magical thing of like actually making profits with like a reasonable way of dealing with customers.
That's why these guys keep trying to change the rules.
Everything has to be a
What
scam
I find
nowadays.
so absurd about all of this is that Valve doesn't even do any of this in practice. And even when their competitors try to undercut them on price, it doesn't even work because price cutting doesn't keep customers when the service itself is worse. Steam is just the better platform. That's why people keep choosing it. Tim Sweeney can complain about it all he wants. He can call Steam unlawful, but his own storefront proves the opposite of what he's arguing. There are tons of games that Epic gives away for free that are not on Steam for free, and the players still choose to buy them on Steam anyway.
Yeah.
This came up just recently when the head of New Blood pointed out that their new game Blood West sold over 200% more copies on Steam, even while it was being given away for free on the Epic Game Store. Sweeney tried to cope in a response saying gamers and developers win by having more options and better deals, but the growth charts do not back that up. Epic's own numbers show that while its users have tripled over the last 7 years, third-party revenue, games people are actually buying, has only grown by 1.6%.
I feel sorry for them a bit right now. Like, this is so sad. Like, I mean, at least they have Fortnite. Maybe they need to create another game. There's like only on the Epic Games Store. They need the second Fortnite,
Even free is not enough to overcome a worse service. People will always choose the better platform when they're allowed to, and that's exactly what lawsuits like this threaten. The entire case that they built around it is this idea that Steam is somehow responsible for higher prices, but what do they actually expect to happen? That the prices are magically going to drop? We already have standardized pricing across the industry.
Yeah.
Do they think that Ubisoft, Microsoft, EA, or anybody else is suddenly going to start charging less for their games while they're also openly pushing for a...
Maybe we should remove inflation. Maybe we should sue like banks so they remove inflation, cancel the inflation. 2026, the year we cancel the inflation,
$100 games? Of course not. They're just going to pocket the difference and we're going to get nothing. Now, you could argue that this helps smaller developers, and sure, I would go ahead and agree with you on that. That's less money to a middleman and more money to the creator and more games for us, but that's the optimistic version that almost never actually plays out in reality. Prices are going to stay the same or keep rising, and the only real outcome is an industry punishing one of the few platforms that goes out of its way to work for us. Yeah. And that's exactly what Steam does. Yes, they've been litigated into changing some of their behavior over the years, but compared to the rest of the industry, they have consistently taken the high road almost every single time. Steam is the only major platform with a no questions asked refund policy. They force developers to honor their deadlines on season passes and DLC so their customers don't get rug pulled. They offer family sharing so you're not rebuying the same game 5 times for a single household. They banned in-game ads while everybody else was rushing to go and patent different ways to inject them into video games. And they banned crypto and blockchain games outright because they knew it would put their customers at risk. None of this is accidental. None of it's universal. Epic Store doesn't protect any of their users from this. They openly criticize Valve for doing so. Epic went all in on crypto. They have no problem with ads. Their refund policy can take days, and that's assuming that it ever actually gets approved at all. And more recently, Tim Sweeney has argued that players don't even need to know whether or not a game used generative AI.
BS. I mean, I like to know if it uses generative AI. And most games do use generative AI. Like, yeah. But in some cases I don't care, and in some cases I do. Like, if the AI looks good, or if the AI is like, let's say the character portraits that you basically don't look at because you don't care, then yeah, like I'm fine with that. But if it's like a visual novel that is using very bad generative AI art that costs like, let's say maybe like $12, yeah, doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, Like, if it didn't say generative AI, then I would be like, the art looks shit. And if it says generative AI, then I'm like, it's using AI. Okay, it looks shit. But at least I'm not saying the artist is, at least I'm not gonna be calling artists names, at least. So that's a positive here.
Something that Steam explicitly discloses to their users by default. From where I'm standing, Steam builds rules to protect their players, and everybody else is just complaining that those rules are getting in the way of making money. That's why I believe that this entire thing, whether it's the litigators, Tim Sweeney, the other competitors, all they're trying to do is just use outside forces, use outside litigation to try to regulate their competitor rather than actually trying to compete with them. Legal action and regulation have become the only hope that these guys have left, simply because they just don't take the time to reflect. They don't take the time to think about why people don't want to use them. Why are they losing? I think these guys default to the idea that Steam must be doing something underhanded because it's the only thing that they know.
Yeah.
I think that these companies and outside investors are doing whatever they can to try to pressure Steam and put them into a weakened state. Not only because it gives them an opportunity to hopefully steal some of their customers, but also I think it's because they're hoping that it might make Valve loosen their grip on how they protect their players, and also just the quality of service that the platform has by itself. If they make less money, then that means that there's less money that goes into the platform, and then also maybe they might, I don't know, let ads through. They might
open up to the public market and have shareholders that turn everything to shit. That's what they actually want. They want Steam to have shareholders that turn everything to shit.
Let crypto through or something else.
No. This guy is like, yeah, maybe this, maybe that. No, they want Steam to open up and have shareholders. They want Steam to go public. There we go. Because I'm pretty confident that Steam is still private. From the last time I remembered, that was ages ago, Steam was private, and I think it still is. I hope so, at least.
And they want,
and if they do have like shareholders, then I mean, so far they haven't done shit, so that's good. Maybe because the Steam is too good. I don't know.
That, and that's the route that they're trying to go, is because their games are also on Steam. They can't be doing shady stuff on their platform, but just not do it on Steam. They need everybody else to jump at the same time. And I think that's what these guys are trying to go for. I don't know, man. If Steam loses this, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt really bad. And it's not just the initial $900 million that they have to pay out. It's going to be the subsequent changes that they're actually going to have to make to Steam to their own commissions, which is going to have long-lasting effects on how much money the company can make. Yeah. Also, at the same time, it goes into the position of them getting basically sued pretty much across the world, because when you see a class action lawsuit out in one area, you're going to see it in other countries. So these guys are already under a lot of legal pressure from a lot of different places right now, and this is just going to add on top of it. So who knows how much something like this could cost them. And we're not going to see anything from it. We're not going to get any benefit from it.
No.
What do you like? No, no universe is that ever going to happen.
We're going to have a bunch of negatives. The only thing that's going to end up
happening, it's just going to be the exact same thing that we saw with digital games, where, we're not making this anymore, so you're going to get savings because of that. That never happened. Same thing goes for AI. It's going to cut costs. None of those savings are ever going to.
True. He's actually saying such a true thing. He's like, we're going to use AI to make games. It's going to make games cheaper. Yeah, it's going to make games cheaper. I don't know when they stop existing, maybe. We're going to go digital. It's going to make games cheaper. Yeah, it made games more accessible. Not cheaper, more accessible. Different thing, you know?
Be handed down to the customer. Those guys are just going to pocket all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's always going to be the same. Either prices are going to go up or they're going to stay the same. Believing otherwise, simply naive.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that I'm going to say, and I need to take more time to think about this, but there's also something really gross about having a government wanting to come in and telling Valve how much money they can make.
Yeah.
How much commission they're allowed to charge for, especially when you're not talking about any of the other companies in the industry. Seeing as that 30% is not something that is just foreign and it's only Valve that's doing it. No, it's every single company that's doing it. So if you're just focused on Valve and saying that these guys are too profitable, they're just too damn good at what they do, that you need to nerf them specifically, I don't see, one, how that's competitively fair, and two, how you have the right to do that.
I mean, personally, if any country wants to go about, like, if we want a global thing where we have to like do a cap of money for corporations so we don't do like massive inflation and stuff like that, right? Then you have to do it internationally for all the companies, and everything that goes beyond a certain amount of money, they have to like pay it back in taxes. And then we have UBI. Yeah, like if you want to go this way, we can go this way, but then we have to create a universal basic income. I mean, I would like a universal basic income, you know. I don't want to do shit in my life. Yep. And many people probably don't want to do shit in their life as well. But yeah, like that's a way of going around things. I mean, yeah, but if it like we are not going. This is not going to happen. It's basically like them saying we're going to turn it to shit because we want to turn it to shit because you're having too much fun. The fun police came in and said no fun, basically. This is so depressing. Like, can't we just go back? I want to go back to 2016, where I was just a kid. A teenager. When I was a teenager, doing teenager things, not caring about anything, and playing games. Best time of my life, you know? But yeah, let's continue.
I don't like
We are so close to the end. So close.
I don't know. But tell me what you guys think. Are you one of the 14 million gamers that these guys are representing? 14 million gamers. Sound off. Let me hear you in the comment section. Tell me about how much you hate Steam, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully, this doesn't actually go through.
Actually, I want to go check the comment section.
That's at least what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy
you know what I want to see? I want Steam to get the thing, the conglomerate of like the people that are suing, to pay them a bunch of money for the lawsuit. That would be like the best thing ever, in my opinion. That would like teach other countries a lesson to like not mess around with BS, like ideas and BS with like Steam, you know?
Like the video, share the video.
Yep.
Comment, like it. I already said like it. Comment again. Comment like 3 or 4 times, maybe even more. I'm not really too sure.
Comment like 3 or 4 times, maybe 50 times. You know, make it go to make it bigger in the algorithm. You know, make it do stuff. But yeah. Oh, we've been recording for 1 hour. Wow. Yeah, quite good video. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let's check some comments. You know. Titanfall 2 review. Whether I saw signs stating that I do not feel overcharged by Steam. Yep. I feel many people would do, you know. Honestly, I wish they would only want a subscription-based model. I feel like subscription-based model would not work out anywhere. I mean, they would probably, like, it would be so annoying and it would not work out, whatever, but they probably just want, like, introduce Face ID on Steam, you know, all of the jazz that all the companies are doing right now, just like, honestly, the Face ID thing is so annoying. But yeah, that's what they want. If Steam follows, I will wear a pirate outfit for the rest of my life. Many will do. Many will do. Steam has shit support my ass. Yep. Can't compare, so I need daddy government to handicap the opposition for me. Based take. A 3 out of 4 of my library was bought between 75 to 90% off. I wish we had sales like that for certain games, but I will never see 75 to 90% off for Factorio or anything like that. Overcharging, I mean, in some countries, it do be kind of like that. Because honestly, I want Steam to like re-establish the money thing, because they have like, you know, the equivalent to $1, like $1 equals X amount of money, right? I want them to redo this so certain countries would have more stable, you know, more stable thing with the money, and so the prices on Steam would actually like, you know, fix themselves for certain countries. But yeah, they just made global enemies. So true. She's the Margaret Thatcher of gaming, you know. Hmm. It's not a piracy problem; it's service problem. If Steam dies, yep, everyone's going. I like how there's so many people that say that they would like to go pirate because of the situation here. Like, I like this; it's making me happy. Because if Steam turns in, like, before Steam, you either go buy it in a store or you do shady business on pirate sites. You know, you go yar. You're wearing pirate hats everywhere, right? And yeah, but nowadays you have Steam and everything is like okay-ish, working fine. And then in like some other cases, you go to certain sites that give you the Steam keys, and you do all of that business, you know. So yeah, like I'm hoping I'm hoping the best for Steam with this situation here, because if it turns to shit, then we're screwed. Basically, we are screwed. Like me playing my boring games, I'm screwed. You playing your Dark Souls and whatever, you are screwed as well. We are all screwed. Yep, that's what's happening. So yeah, this video, very informative, a very good video. Quite enjoyed it. Quite, you know, it gave me a lot of things to think about. And yeah, if you enjoyed my video though, leave a like, comment down below what would you like to see from me another time maybe, and subscribe, and yeah, whatever. Goodbye.